Hello everyone, warm welcome. I welcome you all. I hope I'm audible, visible, everything is fine. Okay, so warm welcome to Finance Current Affairs session, and today we will be covering 1st and 2nd of August news 2025, and this is again going to be a really very important session if you are preparing for regulatory bodies exam or for any other bank examination. So before we start the discussion, may I have a reply in the comment section that everything is fine, we are good to go, so that we can begin the discussion without any further delay. Quickly everyone. And as usual, today also we will be covering many important news, out of which one of the most important news which we are going to start with is banking law amendment. So recently there have been certain laws which have been amended, or certain acts which have been amended. So we will be discussing about all the amendments. We will be discussing what all amendments have been done, why these amendments have been done, what will be the impact of these amendments, and how these amendments are going to impact the common man, and how it is going to be helpful for us while answering the questions in the examination. So keeping the same thought, I will be covering up with this particular session. But before we start, I would request everyone quickly copy the link of this session, guys, share it with your friends. I was not able to share the link today, so I would request you all, please copy the link, share it with your friends so that more and more students, they can join us live. And today, the first half of the session would be dedicated to the banking law amendment. And in this discussion, you will be learning many important terms, many new financial terms which can be asked indirectly in your examination. I can assure you that in the upcoming examination in phase 1 as well as in phase 2, you will find at least 1 to 2 questions from this particular session. Especially in the phase 2 examination, you can expect a paragraph based question on the same. So let's get started, guys. Just give me yes sir in the comment section if we are good to go. Okay, that means everything is fine. Okay, so if I ask you one important thing, could you name some of the acts under which banks are operating, or the acts which are managing the bank's day-to-day operations? Any idea? According to you, which all acts are being there in the economy which are basically utilized, or which are basically implemented for the day-to-day operations of the banks? So obviously, first one we have the Banking Companies Act, second one we have RBI Act, then we have many other acts which are indirectly or directly related to the day-to-day operations of the bank. So today we will be discussing the amendments which have been done in almost all the acts related to the banking sector. Okay, ji? So let's begin. Chalo. First of all, I would start the discussion with the first part. If you want to download the PDF of this session, it will be available on my Telegram channel. First of all, I would start my discussion that recently Government of India has officially notified the implementation of key provisions under the Banking Laws Amendment Act 2025, and these amendments are going to be implemented from yesterday onwards, that is from 1st of October 2025. Why these changes have been done? So these changes have been done obviously for streamlining the institutional governance, enhance the mechanism for protecting depositors as well as investors, and legal framework governing the Indian banking sector. So these provisions which I'm going to discuss today, I'm not going to discuss them for the very first time. I've already discussed them in the month of April, but at that particular time in the month of April, President's signature was done and there was a gazetted notification on 15th of April 2025, but now it has been come up with the implementation date, that is 1st of August 2025. And how many amendments have been done? If I talk about the total amendments, so total 19 amendments have been done. The next question which should be important, which you must ask, कि sir ये जो amendments हुई हैं, these amendments have been done in which all laws, in which all act? Then my answer would be So these amendments have been done in the Banking Regulation Act 1949. So the amendments have been done in RBI Act 1934. So amendments have been done in the Banking Companies Act 1970, 1980, as well as the amendments have been done in the State Bank of India Act 1955. Now, if I talk about the past of the same discussion, then I would come up in this manner. The amendment bill has received the President's signature on 15th of April 2025, which has marked a significant, change or update in the India's banking rules and regulations. So if someone asks me, so what are the objectives of this particular amendment or this particular announcement, then my answer would be, so the objective of this particular amendment will include what all things? So it will include the first one, enhance governance, accountability and transparency in the banking operation. So in order to enhance governance, accountability and transparency in banking operations, this amendment is done. Second point is improve depositor and investor protection framework. So in order to improve the depositors and investors or investor protection frameworks, this initiative has been done. Next point is it provide a greater operational autonomy to the public sectors. Now the point is how this amendment has provided greater autonomy, that means more independence with respect to the operations of public sector banks. We will check it out, don't worry. It will align the legal provisions with the current financial sector realities and inflation adjusted thresholds. So these amendments have been done in order to come up with the or in order to align the India's financial sector with the current realities as well as the inflation aspects, and this amendment is done in order to strengthen the cooperative banking governance. So in total 19 amendments have been done in order to achieve the given objectives, and these 19 amendments have been done in all acts. So the acts include Banking Regulation Act 1949, RBI Act 1934, State Bank of India Act 1955, as well as Banking Companies Act 1970 and 1980. ठीक है, अब इस अमेंडमेंट के अगर आप गेजेटेड नोटिफिकेशन को देखेंगे, ऑब्वियसली इट्स गोइंग टू बी इम्पॉसिबल टू अंडरस्टैंड कि एक्चुअल में अमेंडमेंट्स क्या है, कैसे हुई, क्यों हुई, लेकिन वी विल ट्राई टू डीकोड देम वन बाय वन, एंड आई एम प्रीटी श्योर you will be clear with all the 5 important amendments which we are going to remember. So the first one, from where we are going to start our discussion, this amendment is related to RBI Act 1934, as well as this amendment is related to Banking Regulation Act 1949. You know, when we talk about CRR as well as SLR, if you remember that banks, they share their data or they report CRR and SLR values on fortnight basis. On fortnight basis, what I'm trying to say is, earlier CRR and SLR calculation was done on 2nd and 4th Friday. On 2nd and 4th Friday of every month. And once the calculation is done, then this calculation or this values or the report is shared with RBI, and in order to share this report with RBI, earlier banks used to get 7 days. But now the first amendment which has been done is the revision of this term, that is fortnight basis. अब ये fortnight basis में 2nd और 4th Friday का जो प्रॉब्लम है उसे रिजॉल्व कर दिया. अब सीधा सीधा बोला कि सर पहले 15 दिन, first 15 days of the month and next 15 days of the month, that is 16th to last day of the month, that could be 30th or that could be 31st depending upon the month. So पहली जो reporting होगी of CRR and SLR, that will be for 15th of the month, and second reporting will be of 30th or 31st of the month. और अब ये जो reporting है, this reporting is need to be done in how many days? So this reporting is need to be done in 5 days to RBI, जो कि पहले रिपोर्टिंग के लिए you were getting 7 days, but now you will be getting 5 days as a bank to report. Obviously अब इससे फायदा क्या होगा सर? इन सारे चेंजेस से सबसे पहला फायदा तो ये होगा कि एक क्लैरिटी हो गई, वो सेकेंड और फोर्थ फ्राइडे वाली प्रॉब्लम खत्म हो गई, सबसे पहली चीज। अब सीधा सीधा कैलेंडर के बेसिस पे डेट वाइज दिस एंटायर डिस्कशन विल बी डन। और जो पहले CRR या SLR वैल्यूज या बैलेंसेस की जो रिपोर्टिंग थी ऑल्टरनेट फ्राइडेज को की जाती थी, अब वो प्रॉब्लम को हटा दिया गया या उस इशू को हटा दिया गया। ठीक है। दूसरा पॉइंट है कि सर नाउ द बैंक्स दे मस्ट रिपोर्ट on the last day of each fortnight, which is 15th और 30th और 31st। और यहां पर ये जो रिपोर्टिंग है जिसके लिए you have to share the data with RBI, earlier you used to get 7 days to report to RBI, but now this count has been reduced to 5 days. Is this point clear? ये दो पॉइंट समझ आ गए? अगर ये दोनों पॉइंट्स क्लियर है तो just give me yes sir. If both these points are clear, just give me yes sir, then we'll quickly read what I have for you. And I'm pretty sure that you are going to enjoy the discussion. एक अमेंडमेंट समझाऊंगा, पढ़ा दूंगा, सेकेंड अमेंडमेंट समझाऊंगा, पढ़ा दूंगा। इस तरह से 5 अमेंडमेंट्स हैं जो हम वन बाय वन आज के सेशन में कवर करेंगे। एंड आई कैन एश्योर यू आफ्टर वॉचिंग दिस वीडियो देयर इज नो नीड टू रिवाइज द कंटेंट, देयर इज नो नीड टू ओपन ऑल दीज टर्म्स अगेन, दैट वोंट बी रिक्वायर्ड। इतना डिटेल में हम चीजें कवर कर लेंगे दैट देयर विल बी नो नीड टू गो बैक एंड रिवाइज द सेम कंटेंट। ठीक है जी, डन हो गया ना? नो डाउट। ठीक है। अब किसी को ये लग रहा हो कि सर ये कैसा है, तो मैं थोड़ा सा एक और आइडिया देता हूँ। व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से बेसिकली इन दिस डिस्कशन, देखो CRR एंड SLR इज कैलकुलेटेड ऑन डेली बेसिस एज ऑफ द परसेंटेज ऑफ NDTL, बट when we talk about the calculations of NDTL, then reporting it to RBI, that was basically done on fortnight basis, जो कि second and fourth Friday था of every month. Now this second and fourth Friday of every month problem has been reduced or it has been changed, और इसे change करके अब क्या कर दिया कि now you have to submit the report. Now you have to submit the report. The amendments also revise the reporting dates for the submission of statutory reports by the banks to RBI from reporting every Friday to the last day of fortnight, month or quarter. ठीक है जी, clear हो गया point? I guess there is no problem in this discussion. चलो जी, now let's get it out. So this section has been significantly revised and modernized the timing and terminology related to CRR maintenance and reporting. Revised definition says fortnight. The term fortnight was not clearly structured in terms of calendar alignment earlier. Now fortnight has been clearly defined. 1st to 15th of a calendar month and 16th to last day of the calendar month. Banks are required to report the CRR balances earlier. Banks were required to report the CRR balances on alternate basis, on alternate Fridays. Eliminate inconsistent bi-weekly reporting based on weekdays. It replaces फ्राइडे बेस्ड साइकिल्स विद कैलेंडर बेस्ड साइकिल्स। उसके अलावा अगर हम बात करें द टाइमलाइन विच वाज गिवन टू सबमिट द रिपोर्ट, द टाइमलाइंस विच वर गिवन टू सबमिट द रिपोर्ट, द टाइम विंडो reduced to 5 days. Time window has been reduced to 5 days from the end of the fortnight to submit the reports with RBI, which was earlier 7 days, and the same implementation has been done for SLR and liquidity returns reporting to RBI. समझ आ गई बात? कोई दिक्कत, कोई परेशानी? What was the purpose? Speed of regulatory reporting and data availability to RBI pushes bank to maintain real-time financial discipline and internal controls, harmonize regulatory reporting with calendar structure, reduces delay in compliance and simplifies the internal planning. So these are the first two amendments which you need to remember. First amendment is fortnight definition. Second amendment is reporting timeline has been revised. यहां तक अगर किसी को कोई भी दिक्कत हो, कोई भी परेशानी हो तो एक बार मुझसे पूछ लीजिए। क्लियर हो गई बात? तो अब जहां भी दो चीजें समझ लीजिए, पहला चेंज है फोर्टनाइट। फोर्टनाइट के लिए जो पहले सेकंड एंड फोर्थ फ्राइडे था, अब उस सेकंड एंड फोर्थ फ्राइडे को बदल कर क्या कर दिया, फर्स्ट टू 15th ऑफ द मंथ एंड 16th टू 30th और 31st ऑफ द मंथ। तो ये और ये, दीज आर द फोर्टनाइट्स। उसके अलावा इफ आई टॉक अबाउट द रिपोर्टिंग, सर reporting timeline which was 7 days, it has been reduced to 5 days. Reporting timeline which is 7 days, it has been reduced to 5 days. These are the two things which you need to remember. Done? Done guys? No doubt? SLR के केस में भी जो हम कैलकुलेशंस करते थे, SLR के केस में भी जो कैलकुलेशंस की जाती थी, दे वर अगेन डन ऑन द फोर्टनाइट बेसिस। रिपोर्टिंग की जाती थी ऑन फोर्टनाइट बेसिस। उसके लिए भी दे हैव कम अप विद द सेम थिंग कि फोर्टनाइट की जो डेफिनेशन सेकंड एंड फोर्थ फ्राइडे थी, इट हैज बीन रिप्लेस्ड, या उसे कहो कि चेंज कर दिया, फर्स्ट टू 15th कर दिया। और उसके साथ साथ जो रिपोर्टिंग की टाइमलाइन 7 डेज थी, जो रिपोर्टिंग की टाइमलाइंस 7 डे थी, किसी भी केस में अब उन 7 डेज के टाइमलाइंस को एक्चुअल में रिड्यूस करके कितना कर दिया, दे हैव बीन रिड्यूस टू 5 डेज। इज इट क्लियर वंश? आई होप द पॉइंट इज क्लियर। शैल आई मूव अहेड? No doubt? Fine. Chalo. Moving on to the next point. If I move on to the next point, the next amendment which I have for you all is, the next amendment is basically related to substantial interest list or substantial interest limit raised. Now the question is, so what do you understand by the word substantial interest? पहले वो समझते हैं, फिर substantial interest का मतलब समझने के बाद we'll try to decode that what is the meaning of this particular statement. So let's get started guys. First of all, if someone asks me that, sir, what do you understand by the word So the point is, if someone asks me, so what do you understand by the word substantial interest? तो मेरा आंसर क्या होगा? My answer to this particular question would be substantial interest is basically what? So substantial interest basically means holding a financial stake or ownership in a borrowing company. For example, there is a bank और उस बैंक के पास एक कंपनी एक्स है, वो लोन लेने आई। एक कंपनी एक्स है, वो लोन लेने आई, और ये जो बैंक के डायरेक्टर्स हैं, उनमें से एक डायरेक्टर इज हैविंग शेयर और ओनरशिप इन द बोरोइंग कंपनी। शेयर और ओनरशिप इन द बोरोइंग कंपनी। अब टेक्निकली देखा जाए तो ये जो बैंक है, दिस बैंक शुड नॉट प्रोवाइड लोन। टेक्निकली अगर हम देखें तो दिस बैंक शुड नॉट प्रोवाइड लोन टू द कंपनी एक्स बिकॉज इट विल बी अ केस ऑफ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट। वहां पर एक पॉइंट आया, वो पॉइंट क्या? बैंक विल प्रोवाइड लोन टू द कंपनी एक्स if shareholding or ownership of bank's director is up to 5 lakh rupees or 10% of paid up capital। कि अगर तो आपकी शेयर होल्डिंग इससे या इससे कम है, उस केस में विल अलाउ यू टू बोरो अ लोन, अगर इससे ज्यादा देन नो लेंडिंग। अब भैया ये जो क्लॉज था, दिस क्लॉज वाज गिवन बैक इन 1968। दिस क्लॉज वाज गिवन बैक इन 1968। अब इस क्लॉज को रिवाइज किया गया, अब इस क्लॉज को रिवाइज किया गया, और रिवाइज करने के बाद क्या कहा गया कि सर you can borrow a loan if the ownership is up to 2 करोड़ रुपीस। तो ये जो 5 लाख था उसे बढ़ाकर अब कितना कर दिया, 2 करोड़, क्योंकि इन्फ्लेशन की वजह से। सर आज की डेट में 5 लाख की क्या ही वैल्यू है। तो अगर आपका शेयर होल्डिंग 2 करोड़ से ज्यादा है तो बैंक लोन नहीं देगा। अगर लोन मांगने एक कंपनी आई, उस कंपनी में आपके बैंक के डायरेक्टर की ओनरशिप है और वो ओनरशिप 2 करोड़ या उससे कम है तो लोन मिल जाएगा। इज दिस पॉइंट क्लियर? इज दिस पॉइंट क्लियर? तो ये पॉइंट क्लियर होना बहुत जरूरी है। तो इसमें हु इज कवर्ड? So this concept is critical in the banking sector to identify the potential conflict of interest. इसमें कवर होगा कौन? एक इंडिविजुअल जिसका शेयर होल्डिंग अकेले का है या उसकी वाइफ के साथ है या फिर उसके चिल्ड्रन के साथ है, माइनर चिल्ड्रन के साथ है। सो it's said to have a substantial interest if the ownership of the shares or financial stake in a borrowing company exceed certain regulatory threshold. तो पहले वो लिमिट कितनी थी? शेयर एक्सीडिंग 5 lakhs और 10% of paid up capital will come up with the lending restrictions. That means bank will not give loan to a company in which one of the bank's director is holding shareholding or holding an ownership of greater than 10% or greater than 2 crore greater than 5 lakhs. but वो 5 लाख की लिमिट को अब रिवाइज करके कितना कर दिया? सर it has been increased to 5 crores. 5 lakhs have been increased to 5 crores. Is this point clear? Easy है, ठीक हो गया ना? तो इसमें एक एग्जांपल ले लेते हैं। मान लो एक डायरेक्टर है बैंक का, मिस्टर ए, ही इज ओइंग 1.8 करोड़ वर्थ ऑफ शेयर्स इन कंपनी एबीसी, वर्थ ऑफ शेयर इन कंपनी एबीसी। और उस केस में अगर हम बात करें, जो कंपनी एबीसी है उसमें मेरा जो डायरेक्टर के जो शेयर होल्डिंग है दैट इज 1.8 CR। पहले क्या होता, अगर आप पहले लोन लेने जाते इस कंपनी को लोन नहीं मिलता, लेकिन अब इस कंपनी को लोन मिल जाएगा क्योंकि उसकी वैल्यू 2 करोड़ से कम है। क्लियर हो गई बात? समझ आ गया? नथिंग मोर टू डिस्कस। तो अभी तक हमने 2 पॉइंट्स डिस्कस किए। वो 2 पॉइंट्स क्या है मैं एक बार आपको रिवाइज करा देता हूं, क्योंकि मुझे लगा है शायद CRR वाले केस में आपको कंफ्यूजन ना हुआ हो। तो CRR और SLR का जो रिपोर्टिंग था, कैलकुलेशन इज डन on daily basis and CRR and SLR is reported on 2nd and 4th Friday of every month. अब इस 2nd and 4th Friday of every month को रिवाइज करके कैलेंडर के साथ लिंक कर दिया और उसमें यह कहा गया कि सर पहला फोर्टनाइट होगी तो पहली जो रिपोर्टिंग है वो 15th को होगी, दूसरी जो रिपोर्टिंग है वो कब होगी? 30th या 31st डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द मंथ। और दूसरा जो पॉइंट है वो ये कि अगर आपके आरबीआई ने कोई भी टाइमलाइन आपको दी है रिगार्डिंग रिपोर्टिंग, अगर आपकी रिपोर्टिंग की टाइमलाइन 7 days है, दैट यू हैव टू रिपोर्ट दिस, यू हैव टू रिपोर्ट दैट टाइमलाइन हैज बीन रिड्यूस फ्रॉम 7 days to 5 days। ठीक है जी? तो ये जनरल चेंज है, इट इज नॉट ओनली स्पेसिफिकली रिलेटेड टू CRR और SLR। मैं ये कहना चाह रहा हूं कि अगर मान लो आरबीआई ने कहा कि आपको CRR SLR की रिपोर्टिंग 7 दिन में करनी है, तो वो 7 दिन का टाइम कम होके कितना हो गया? 5 दिन हो गया। लेकिन यहां जो रिपोर्टिंग 2nd और 4th फ्राइडे को की जाती थी, इट विल बी डन ऑन 15th और 30th और 31st ऑफ द एवरी मंथ। कैन बी डायरेक्टर और एनी अदर डेजिग्नेटेड पर्सन फ्रॉम द बैंक? हाँ, आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट द डायरेक्टर ओनली। If you are a part of board of directors, then in that particular case, you won't be allowed to borrow the loan, or your company won't be allowed to borrow the loan. ठीक है जी? Clear हो गया? चलो, moving on to the next point. Let's read it out. Old provision क्या थी? So the value of threshold was substantial interest should be 5 lakhs or 10% of paid up capital of the company. Now it has been increased. 5 लाख वाले क्लॉज को बढ़ाकर कितना कर दिया? 2 crores. कितना कर दिया? 2 crores. Substantial interest refers to the significant financial stake or ownership that a person alone or together with the specified relatives, that is spouse plus minor children, holds in the borrowing company. This concept is critical to identify the potential conflict of interest, especially in credit or lending decisions. अब हुआ क्या कि सर 1968 में ये लिमिट्स दी गई थी, उसके बाद इन लिमिट्स को चेंज नहीं किया गया और अब ड्यू टू इन्फ्लेशन, ड्यू टू दी materialistic change all over the economy, this change was required. कंपनी का जो वैल्यूएशन है और promoter holding है, they have grown substantially in the recent decades, because of which 5 lakh is nothing now. So if 5 lakh is nothing, then it has been increased to a value of substantial value of 2 crores. Why this has been introduced? Sir, in order to ensure bank directors, listen to me, bank directors or influential individuals with substantial stakes are properly monitored for related party transactions. For related party transactions. ठीक है? See, यहाँ पे ये जो लिमिट है ना, this limit is for an individual. This limit is for an individual. So एक इंडिविजुअल की अगर शेयर होल्डिंग 5 लाख 2 लाख 2 करोड़ से कम है, then the borrowing can be done. और अगर मान लो 2 डायरेक्टर्स की मिलाकर जो borrowing है that is less than the desired value or the required value, then also the borrowing can be done by the desired company. ठीक है जी? Now moving on to the third amendment. अब क्वेश्चन आता है कि सर ये जो थर्ड अमेंडमेंट है इसमें क्या क्या पॉइंट्स डिस्कस किए गए हैं. इन द थर्ड अमेंडमेंट you have to understand about the first one, that is the director timeline. That is the director timeline. If we talk about the director timeline in the banks, which was earlier 8 years, now it has been increased to 10 years. तो पहले जो आपका tenure था, which was 8 years, now for better management, this has been enhanced and it has been increased from 8 to 10 years. Now it has been increased from 8 to 10 years. This change is aligning with the 97th constitutional amendment, ensuring continuity and professionalism in the cooperative bank leadership. So in case of cooperative banks, जो directors का tenure है, which was earlier 8 years, this maximum tenure is now increased from 8 years to 10 years. This is the next point which you need to remember. Third amendment में एक और amendment है, again related to the cooperative banks, उसे मैं कहूँगा director link. Now what I'm trying to say in case of director link, इस point को ध्यान से सुनना. मान लो एक director है in the central cooperative bank. A director of a central cooperative bank can also serve on the board of state cooperative bank. तो इसमें कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है कि अगर आप किसी एक सेंट्रल कोऑपरेटिव बैंक के डायरेक्टर हैं, then also you are allowed to serve in the board of state cooperative bank. There is no issue, there is no, I would say, restrictions on the same. But जो इसमें important चीज है वो ये है कि जो maximum tenure है cooperative banks के directors की, that has been extended from 8 years to 10 years, excluding chairperson and whole time directors. So I'm excluding chairperson and whole time directors in this point. I'm including only and only the directors other than chairperson, other than whole time directors, whose tenure has been increased from 8 to 10 years. समझ आ गई बात? Clear हो गया point? If it is clear, just give me yes sir. Let's quickly read out the same. So if I talk about this discussion, sir, in case of cooperative banks, the director tenure in cooperative banks, general cap of 8 years remains, but now explicitly allows 10 years in case of cooperative banks. Aligning the 97th constitutional amendment, it will enhance the board stability. It clarifies that a director of central cooperative bank can also serve as a board of state cooperative bank. This ensures better representation and integration of state and central level cooperative bank structures. So this announcement has also been made in the recent times. This is the third amendment. Now I'm running to the fourth amendment, but before I run to the fourth amendment, guys, do you understand a term that is nomination? Do you understand a term that is nomination? How many of you understand a term nomination? Just give me yes sir. See, nomination basically means when you make someone else, when you make someone else responsible to recover the funds on your behalf in case of your demise. That means if, let's say, I have a bank account, and if in near future, uh, I pass away, then in that particular case, the refunds from my bank account, can be easily taken up. Refunds from my bank account or the withdrawal from my bank account can be easily taken out by the individual whom I have made responsible to do that, and that person is basically known as nominee. Now, earlier there was a case in case of bank deposit accounts and nominee, that regarding the multiple nominees, we don't have much clarity, but now the clarity has been given. So what clarities have been given? Please pay attention on the screen. So if I talk about nomination, there are few terms which you need to remember. In case of nomination, this is the 4th amendment. In case of nomination for your deposit account or locker, how many nominations can be done? So you can have up to 4 nominees. You can have up to 4 nominees. सबसे पहली चीज तो ये, which is a very important point which you need to remember. So if someone asks you how many nominees are allowed, then in that particular case, the first amendment is 4 nominees can be allowed, which was not allowed earlier. Earlier, there was only criteria of nominating any one person who will be receiving the fund. So this created a challenge in the estate planning and succession, especially when there were multiple legal heirs. So family agitation को, family problem को, division of asset को smooth करने के लिए there has been a change which has been introduced by Government of India under the latest amendment. So they says that now you can appoint 4 nominees, and these nominees can be appointed in 2 manners. Either you can nominate them successively, or you can make them nominees simultaneously. Now in this particular case, what will happen? There is a condition of or. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? मान लो एक इंडिविजुअल है A, उनकी वाइफ है W, उनका सन है S और उनकी डॉटर है D. ठीक है, अब उन्होंने क्या किया? He has to make the nominees for his bank account deposits as well as locker. Now he has a power that he can make all 4 of them as his nominee. Now in that particular case, there is a first option, that is successively. Successively means first nominee is wife. But if at the time of death, wife has already passed away, then the second nominee will be son. Unfortunately, if at the time of death of individual A, wife has also passed away, son has also passed away, then the third nominee will be daughter. So this is known as successively. Which means one after another in a specific order of priority. On the other side, if I talk about simultaneously, it says that my wife, my son and my daughter, they all are the nominees of my assets, that is bank deposits and lockers. My wife is a nominee of 50%, son is a nominee of 25%, daughter is also a nominee of 25%. So the individual A can choose either successive nominees or can make simultaneous nominees. He has only one option to go with. ऐसा नहीं कि successive भी बना दो और successive में percentage भी set कर दो. That is not possible. और इस case में if son, daughter, they are alive but wife is not alive, then they will be eligible to get 20-25% only. They won't be getting direct access to the wife share. For that the other legal proceedings are need to be met. ठीक है जी, क्लियर हो गया ये पॉइंट? इसमें कोई डाउट है? अप टू 4 हो गया. सक्सेसिवली क्या होता है, साइमल्टेनियसली क्या होता है, दैट पॉइंट इज क्लियर. सो टोटल नॉमिनी मस्ट नॉट एक्सीड 4, है ना. द एग्जैक्ट प्रोपोर्शन फॉर ईच नॉमिनी मस्ट बी डिक्लेयर्ड. द नॉमिनेशन मस्ट कवर द एंटायर डिपॉजिट और द लोकर कंटेंट, आप ऐसा नहीं कह सकते कि मेरे 50% डिपॉजिट के नॉमिनी बना दो, 50% के ना बनाओ, नहीं, ऐसा नहीं हो सकता. सो लेट्स रीड इट आउट. अर्लियर द लॉ परमिटेड अ डिपॉजिटर or a locker to make only one person as a nominee, but now you can make up to 4 person as nominee either successively or simultaneously. Total nominees must not exceed 4. Exact proportion for each nominee must be declared. Nomination must cover the entire deposit or entire locker content. If any nominee dies before receiving, their share reverts to the depositor's estate unless renominated. समझ आई ये बात? अगर एक इंडिविजुअल है, let's say wife, she passes away, then in that particular case the wife share will go on the name of father only, and father, if he has what he has done with his rest of the asset, in that particular same manner the wife share will be distributed. This section legally defines the priority of excess among successive nominees, that is, if multiple individuals are nominated in a particular sequence. Allows up to 4 nominees either simultaneously or successively. In case of successive nomination, priority is now legally defined via newly inserted section. So you have to define the priority legally. Predefined priority has to be given. Is this point clear? That is first nominee, second nominee, third nominee, which means first nominee is alive. When the depositor died, then only first nominee can claim the funds. Second nominee get the right only if the first nominee is died, as well as the account owner or the account holder has died, then only the second nominee will get the access to the same. Is this point clear? तो यहाँ पे जो legal certainty है वो आ गई. Family disputes minimize होंगे. It will support estate planning. It will align with modern legal and financial norms. It will be a best practice which can be introduced by the banking industry or by the banking sector to manage the nomination, to manage the nominations. ठीक है जी, that was your third amendment. Now I'll move on to the fourth amendment. The fourth amendment says what? Please pay attention. Fourth amendment थोड़ी सी interesting है. Please pay attention. You are going to enjoy this. If I talk about the fourth amendment, याद है एक बात पहले जो मैं बताना चाह रहा हूँ वो सुनना. If you have a bank deposit account and if you make no transaction in this bank deposit account, then for 10 years your account will be declared as what? Sir, your account will be declared as unclaimed. याद है, बहुत बार पढ़ लिया, अब तो इसमें कोई गलती नहीं होगी. That is unclaimed account. अब इस unclaimed account को कहाँ ट्रांसफर किया जाता है? Sir, it is transferred in the DEF which is maintained by RBI. अब I have 3 more things to discuss. First of all, I'll start with the first one, that is unclaimed dividend. Unclaimed dividend. So what do you understand by the word unclaimed dividend account? If someone asks me that what do you understand by the term unclaimed dividend account, then my answer would be unclaimed dividend account is basically a special account which is maintained by companies under the provision of Companies Act 2013 to hold the dividend that have been declared but not claimed by the shareholder. मतलब क्या हुआ? मान लो एक कंपनी है, उस कंपनी ने इस बार 100 करोड़ का डिविडेंड डिक्लेयर किया. अब उस 100 करोड़ के डिविडेंड में 90% डिविडेंड को तो क्लेम करने के लिए शेयर होल्डर्स आ गए. 90% को क्लेम करने के लिए तो शेयर होल्डर्स आ गए, बट जो बचा 10% है उसे क्लेम करने कोई आया ही नहीं. नो वन हैज कम इन फ्रंट टू क्लेम इट. सो देयर इज अ 30 days window. There is a 30 days, we call it as 30 days payment window. So these funds will be available. That means you can claim your dividend for 30 days. After 30 days, company will wait for 7 more days. 30 दिन हो गए, कोई आया नहीं. कंपनी ने कहा कोई बात नहीं, 7 दिन और वेट करते हैं. अब अगर 7 दिन तक भी कोई इस 10% ऑफ डिविडेंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड को क्लेम करने नहीं आया, no one has come to claim this 10% of total declared dividend or distributed dividend, then company will not keep that dividend with itself. Company will transfer this dividend into a unclaimed dividend account which they maintain with the banks. We call them as unclaimed dividend account. We call it as unclaimed dividend account. ठीक है जी, ये point clear हुआ? Is this point clear? Second point we have is that is unclaimed shares. Unclaimed shares. Now what is unclaimed shares? So these refers to the equity shares which are held by investors or shareholders on which no dividend has been claimed for continuous period of 7 years. अब इस पे कोई भी unclaimed shares वो shares हैं no claim for 7 years. That will be termed as unclaimed. Shares. Third point I have is that is unclaimed bond payments. Unclaimed bond payments मतलब interest या redemption amount on bonds that have remained unpaid or unclaimed for 7 days. अब इसमें क्या हुआ कि सर आपका जो बॉन्ड है आज वो क्या हुआ मैच्योर हो गया, लेकिन आज उस मैच्योर बॉन्ड के बदले में कोई पैसा लेने आया ही नहीं. नो वन हैज कम टू क्लेम द प्रिंसिपल फॉर 7 years. दैट वी कॉल इट एज व्हाट? सो वी कॉल इट एज अनपेड. द बॉन्ड इज रिमेन्ड अनपेड, चाहे तो वो रिडेम्पशन हो या फिर बॉन्ड का इंटरेस्ट लेने कोई आया ही नहीं फॉर 7 days. तो इन तीनों ही अकाउंट्स के केसेस में अनक्लेम्ड डिविडेंड अकाउंट ऑफ पब्लिक सेक्टर बैंक्स, unclaimed shares of public sector banks, unclaimed bond payments of public sector banks. Now these public sector banks क्या है? सब public sector banks भी तो companies है ना, जैसे बाकी companies है वैसे public sector bank भी एक company है. अगर public sector bank which is a company, it has unclaimed dividend account, and the money is lying in this unclaimed dividend account for 7 years. All the money which is lying in this unclaimed dividend account for 7 years, or the shares lying in unclaimed shares category for 7 years, bond payment unclaimed for 7 years, then all these three payments will be transferred by public sector bank into an account. We call that account as IEPF. Now the question is, so what do you understand by IEPF? Sir, it is Investor Education and Protection Fund. I repeat, Investor Education and Protection Fund. It is a statutory fund which was established under Companies Act, which is managed by Ministry of Corporate Affairs. तो ये जो अकाउंट है, इस अकाउंट में you will be transferring the funds. Who are you? You are a company. बाकी सारी कंपनीज तो ये काम पहले से कर रही हैं, बस पब्लिक सेक्टर बैंक्स नहीं कर रहे थे. तो अब SBI plus other public sector banks, they will be transferring unclaimed dividend account funds after 7 years into IEPF. They will transfer unclaimed shares into IEPF. They will transfer unclaimed bond payment amounts after 7 years into IEPF. जो यहाँ पे 10 years है, that is for deposit. जो यहाँ पे 10 years है, that is for deposit. कि मेरा डिपॉजिट अकाउंट बैंक में था, मैंने क्लेम नहीं किया, देन आफ्टर 10 years बैंक विल ट्रांसफर इट टू RBI. लेकिन इफ I have not claimed my bond interest, I have not claimed my bond repayment at the time of maturity, and even 7 years have passed. 7 years have passed after maturity. 7 years have passed after maturity. Then after 7 years, this amount will be transferred into IEPF as per the current amendment announced. Easy है, पढ़ लो, समझ आ जाएगा. SBI and other public sector banks, they will now transfer unclaimed dividends, unclaimed shares, unclaimed interest or redemption proceeds of bonds to Investor Education Protection Fund under Companies Act. Align public sector banks' practice with private companies under Companies Act, promote investor protection and ensure idle funds are traceable. Investor Education and Protection Fund is managed by Ministry of Corporate Affairs and the Companies Act. Purpose is protect investors, interest, educate investors, serve as repository for unclaimed assets until claimed by rightful owner. Now you must be wondering, until claimed by rightful owner का मतलब क्या हुआ? इसका मतलब है कि जब मान लो 10 साल 15 साल के बाद आपको याद आया कि भाई मेरे कुछ शेयर्स थे या मेरा एक बॉन्ड था जिसके बदले में मुझे पैसा मिलना था लेकिन मैंने पैसा लिया ही नहीं. सो इन दैट पर्टिकुलर केस द law says if the investor funds are transferred into Investor Education and Protection Fund, then there is nothing to worry. You can apply for a refund or transfer of the funds through the IEPF authority portal. You submit your proof of entitlement and claims will be processed under the Companies Act 2013. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि पैसा गया तो गया, वो आएगा नहीं, पैसा आ जाएगा लेकिन उसके लिए आपको अप्लाई करना होगा. लेकिन पहले आप अप्लाई करते थे कहाँ? बैंक्स पे जाकर फॉर योर deposit amount which has been transferred to DEF. Here you will be not applying to the bank, you will be applying on the IEPF authority portal in order to go for recovery of the funds, in order to go for claim of the funds. Got it? Moving on to the fifth amendment. If I talk about the fifth amendment now, what does the fifth amendment says? Please pay attention. I would say the fifth amendment is the easiest one. I'll write over here only. Fifth amendment says that public sector banks, other public sector banks as well as SBI. अब आप सोच रहे हो कि मैंने SBI को अलग क्यों रखा? Because अलग है नहीं, but SBI के जो rules and regulations है, they have been mentioned under SBI Act. तो इसीलिए दोनों को मैं अलग अलग बोल रहा हूँ. वरना if I say all public sector banks, उसमें SBI already included है. Just वो act बीच में इन्वॉल्व है और अमेंडमेंट हुई है तो वो एक्ट में चेंजेस हुए जिसकी वजह से इसे मैं यहां पर इंपॉर्टेंस दे रहा हूं. अब यहां पर ये कहा गया कि सर जो हमारे पब्लिक सेक्टर बैंक्स हैं वो क्या कर सकते हैं? दे कैन अपॉइंट द ऑडिटर्स इंडिपेंडेंटली एंड दे कैन अपॉइंट the auditors independently as well as they can fix their remuneration independently. पहले क्या होता था? So पहले they have to get in consultation with RBI. Only after the approval of RBI these appointments were done. But now statutory auditory remuneration, which is autonomy to the public sector banks. Earlier it was fixed by RBI in consultation with Government of India, but now public sector banks, they are independent in order to determine the auditor's fees. So this is basically to enhance public sector banks' autonomy, allowing the bank to hire and compensate auditors competitively. That means जो ज़्यादा capable है उसे ज़्यादा दो, जो कम capable है उसे कम pay करो, as usual, है ना? So this is something which you need to remember. These are some of the things, or these are 5, I would say, amendments which are important. So SBI and public sector bank can now independently appoint and fix auditors' remuneration. This empower banks to attract skilled auditors by offering competitive pay. Now I would like to conclude the entire discussion ताकि कोई question आए तो you will be in a position to answer it. So first amendment says that fortnight की जो definition है which was used for CRR and SLR reporting calculation, which was earlier second and fourth Friday of every month, this has been replaced with calendar now. 1st to 15th is the first fortnight. पहली जो reporting है वो 15th को होगी. Second जो है reporting या calculation, that will be done on 30th और 31st. तो जब भी कभी fortnight का word आएगा, that this calculation is done fortnightly, this reporting is done fortnightly, this sharing of data is done fortnightly. तो fortnightly का मतलब है 15th of every month, 30th और 31st of every month. Second point है, अच्छा अगर CRR और SLR की बात करें, in that particular case it was earlier done on 2nd and 4th Friday, the calculation वाला part and the reporting वाला part, but now the reporting will be done as per 15th and 30th और 31st. अब मान लो अगर CRR या SLR के लिए RBI ने कहा you have to report after 7 days. I'm just taking an example. Don't get confused कि उसकी reporting 7 days में होती है. So if they have asked you to go for 7 days, then in that particular case, this timeline of 7 days has been reduced to 5 days. In general, जो भी आपकी 7 days की timelines है, that has been reduced from 7 days to 5 days in general. Moving on to the third amendment. If I move on to the third amendment basically talks about what? So third amendment talks about director or influential person of bank can hold up to 2 crores, up to 5 lakhs or 10% of paid up capital in the borrowing company. This 5 lakh has now been revised and increased to 2 crores, keeping in mind the current inflation scenario. अगली जो अमेंडमेंट है दैट इज रिलेटेड टू नॉमिनेशन. नॉमिनी के केस में 4 नॉमिनी हो सकते हैं, चाहे सक्सेसिवली नॉमिनेट करो, चाहे उन्हें simultaneously nominate karo. There is no issue with that. Then we have fifth, that is related to public sector banks, cooperative banks. Cooperative banks में 8 साल का टेन्योर बढ़ाकर 10 साल कर दिया for directors excluding chairman and whole time directors. Public sector banks, now they can appoint their auditors independently and they can fix their remunerations independently. ठीक है जी. तो ऑडिटर्स का अपॉइंटमेंट प्लस उनका रेम्यूनरेशन को फिक्स करना अब इंडिपेंडेंटली अलाउड है, जो कि पहले नहीं था. बस इतना ही याद करना है, इसके अलावा कुछ और पूरी कहानी में इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है. कुछ क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करें. हियर वी गो विद द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन. Which of the following statement about the amendment to definition of substantial interest under the Banking Regulation Act 1949 are correct? तो आंसर क्या होगा? Monetary threshold was increased from 5 lakhs to 10 crores. No sir, it has been increased from 5 to 2 crores. New limit applies uniformly to directors, their spouse and minor child collectively. Yes sir. The updated definition aligns with inflation and valuation growth since 1968. Yes sir, क्योंकि last change 1968 में हुआ था. Unless the older benchmark of 10%, whichever is lower, that is true. 10% वाला तो आज भी as it is existing है ना. 10% वाले पे तो कोई बात ही नहीं हुई. बात तो 5 लाख और 2 करोड़ की हुई है. बात जो हुई है दैट इज ऑफ 5 lakhs and 2 crores. अगर हम बात करें विच एवर इज लोअर, तो उस केस में भी अगर आप इसमें कंफ्यूज ना हो तो मैं यही कहूंगा substantial interest still uses the older benchmark of 10% of paid up capital. 10% of paid up capital और 2 crores लिखा होता तो ये सही था, लेकिन उन्होंने कहा 10% of paid up capital whichever is lower. This is incomplete statement. अगर ये statement incomplete, I cannot go with the option. अगर यहाँ 2 crore लिखा होता then it would be clear. Central government is empowered to revise threshold amount by notification. हाँ, जब चाहे central government इसे revise कर सकती है. So answer is going to be BCE. That is absolutely correct. Next question. Regarding the transfer of unclaimed assets to the Investors Education and Protection Fund, which of the following statement are true? Only matured fixed deposits and unpaid interest qualify for transfer under new rules. Only matured fixed deposits and unpaid interest, they qualify. नहीं सर, सीधा लिखा डिपॉजिट और लोकर्स, इसके अलावा कोई कंडीशन ही नहीं है, तो हम कंडीशंस क्यों बनाएं? Unclaimed shares are transferred if dividend remain unclaimed for 7 consecutive years. Yes, share unclaimed कब होगा sir? When you have not claimed your dividend for 7 years. Once transferred, these assets can never be reclaimed. No sir, you can reclaim them. Amendment aligns SBI and nationalized banks with Companies Act. Yes sir. IEPF provisions are now applying to public sector banks through sections. See, these sections are not important, but answer is correct. So answer is going to be B, D, E. That is absolutely correct. एक question और solve कर लेते हैं. You will get more confidence. Talking about the auditor remuneration wala part, authority to fix remuneration are shifted from RBI to Government of India. RBI and Government of India to public sector banks themselves. That is true. अब banks खुद decide कर सकते हैं. SBI statutory auditor remuneration will now be governed नहीं sir, it's not under Companies Act. It will be under SBA Act 1955. Section 141 of Companies Act 2013 is now operative. Reference for audit related qualifications. That is true. Banks can offer market aligned compensation packages to attract top audit firms. ये सही है. Auditor appointment must be approved by IEPF authority. ना sir, IEPF का कोई लेना देना नहीं है. So the correct answer is ACD. Clear है जी? चलो अगला क्वेश्चन इज योर होमवर्क. टेक अ स्क्रीनशॉट. Take a screenshot. I'll be sharing the answer in the comment section. So it is basically related to nomination. I'm pretty sure you will be able to answer it. I hope you all have taken the screenshot. Moving on to the next question. Take the screenshot again. Then we will move on, and we have two more news, very small and I would say quick news. We'll do them in next 5-7 minutes and we'll conclude it. Done. Chalo. Moving on to the next news. The next news talks about Google. So Google to build 6 billion 1 gigawatt data center in Visakhapatnam. So what is this news all about? So $6 billion India investment is a part of Alphabet, father company of Google, which has a total $75 billion expansion in data centers globally. So total Google is planning for $75 billion of investment in data centers, and it will be investing $6 billion in India. Other regions which will be witnessing huge investments along India will be Singapore, Malaysia, as well as Thailand. Green energy focus, out of the total investment, $2 billion has been kept for renewable energy infrastructure, which will ensure sustainable power for 1 gigawatt facility. तो ये जो $6 billion है उसमें से $2 billion का तो पहले आप क्या बनाएंगे? You will be constructing renewable energy source जो कि source provide करेगा to the 1 gigawatt data center in Visakhapatnam. It will compliance with the global carbon neutral commitments. That is what you need to remember. So in India's digital infrastructure boom is attracting top tier global tech investments. It enhances cloud computing, AI capability and digital services in India, and it will contribute to India's रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी गोल्स. तो दो फायदे हो रहे हैं. एक तरफ तो डेटा सेंटर सेटअप हो रहा है और उस डेटा सेंटर के साथ साथ कहीं ना कहीं ग्रीन एनर्जी को भी बूम मिल रहा है इन इंडिया. सो गूगल 1 गीगावाट डेटा सेंटर प्रोजेक्ट विशाखापट्टनम आंध्र प्रदेश, $6 billion, approximately 50,000 crores capacity, 1 gigawatts, first ever Google data center in India, largest data center across Asia, $2 billion for solar and wind infrastructure, and it is a part of $6 billion of investment is a part of $75 billion global data center infrastructure investment plan by Google. Simple, बस इतना ही है. ठीक है जी, क्लियर हो गया. Let's go for a question. Which of the following statement about Google's Visakhapatnam data center project is or are correct? It will have a capacity of 1 gigawatt. Yes, sir. It is the first data center by Google. Yes, sir. $4 billion investment. No, sir. 2 has been allocated. It is the largest data center project in Asia in terms of both size and capacity. In terms of both size and capacity, then my answer would be in terms of both size and capacity in Asia. That is true. Alphabet is going to invest $75 billion globally. So fifth statement is wrong. Third statement is wrong. Answer is going to be 1, 2, 4. A statement is absolutely correct. Moving on to the next question, and I'm pretty sure that you will be taking the screenshot. Take the screenshot of 7th question. So 4th, 5th, and now 7th question are going to be your homework. Take the screenshot. I will be moving on to the last news of the evening, and then I'll conclude the discussion. If you haven't liked the session yet, then I would request you do hit the like button before leaving the session. Moving on to the last news of the day, that is Fortune Global 500 list 2025 has been released. I hope you must have heard about this Fortune Global. ऐसा हो नहीं सकता कि आपने Fortune Global के बारे में ना सुना हो. नहीं सुना तो मैं थोड़ा सा आपको बता देता हूँ. Fortune Global is basically a US based magazine and it comes up with n number of rankings over the period of time. Its headquarters is in, as I said, US. It's in New York City. Now, the question over here is a New York based Fortune company has come up with, or it has announced its 71st edition of Fortune Global 500 companies list. And this list is created on the basis of revenue for the financial year which has ended on or before 31st March 2025. So they have taken the financial year which has just ended as of 31st March 2025. Global level पे बात करें, the company with highest revenue is Walmart, which is $680 billion of revenue. In case of India, we have Reliance Industries Limited, which is on 88th rank, and its revenue is $114.12 billion. Total Indian companies included in top 500 companies list is 10. Debut bank, that means the bank which has included in top 500 companies for the very first time, that is ICICI at rank 464. Most profitable company is Saudi Aramco, and it is Saudi Arabia based company which has recorded a profit of $105 billion. Most represented country, obviously US, it has represented 138 companies out of 500. Global companies with top companies in terms of revenue collection: Walmart, Amazon, then State Grid Corporation China, Saudi Arabia, that is Saudi Aramco, and China again, that is China National Petroleum. If I talk about India, in case of India, we have Reliance on the top, but global rank is 88. Life insurance company, it has no change in terms of ranking. It is on the same rank as of last year, 95. Then Indian Oil is on 127. तो अगर हमसे कोई पूछे overall, Reliance, private companies, Reliance, insurance companies, LIC, and government owned company, then we can go with Indian Oil Corporation as well as LIC, but Indian Oil Corporation will be the part of petroleum company. अगर कोई पूछे banking companies में top पे कौन सा बैंक है, that is SBI on 163rd rank. Then we have HDFC 258, and this is very important, ICICI, because it has debut in the list of 500 companies of the world, top 500 companies of the world. And if you see, SBI has improved its rank, HDFC Bank has improved its rank, and debut has been done by ICICI Bank. ये कुछ important points हैं which you need to remember. Go for the question, 8th question. Reliance Industries retained its position as the top ranked Indian firm. That is true. ICICI Bank debut. That is true. Tata Motors re-entered the list after a gap of 2 years. Tata Motors has re-entered after a gap of 2 years. Have I talked about Tata Motors? No, sir. If I haven't talked about Tata Motors, that means it is not correct. Total number of Indian companies is 10. Saudi Aramco is the most profitable company. That is true. So 1, 2, 5, A option is absolutely the correct answer. Next question is for your homework. This is the 9th question. So 4th, 5th, 7th and 9th. These are the 4 questions which have been come for homework wala part. Take a screenshot. I will be giving the answers in the comment section itself. That will be all from my side, guys, in this particular session. You can download the PDF of this particular session on my Telegram channel. Thank you so much for joining. We'll catch you soon. Bye-bye. Take care. Good luck. God bless you all.